Hello, hello. I've gotten to where I'm making weird noises at the start of these things. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. It has been about 2 weeks. Wow, I look like a nerd. Big nerd. I forgot to dress myself like this. It's been about 2 weeks since I played Elden Ring. 2 weeks since I played any video game for that matter. So I don't remember what I was doing. I didn't even have my notes open. I actually started recording, like, briefly, and then I realized, oh, I don't have, like, 5 things prepared. I better actually do that, so... as soon as I pick up that item, that's the moment of no return where I know that I actually have to keep going with the recording, so let's just keep that in the background for the time being. So, not much has been going on with me, in the sense that a lot's been going on with me. I had some sort of weird, depressive episode that I think may have been caused medically, because it kind of just popped up out of nowhere, and then it just went away. And I'm pretty good at self-analysis, so I don't think it was a matter of me denying something or anything weird like that, but all the same, yeah, some weird stuff was going on with me, and now it's over. It just decided that it was over, I suppose. So now I'm more or less back to normal. I am hungry, though. I'm always hungry. I'm always hungry because for the past couple of weeks, I have not been eating. Like, I've been eating, like, sometimes 100, 500 calories a day. And I dropped 10 pounds almost as a result. So I now look nicer. I look nicer than this guy, for certain. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of the muscle mass that I was trying to build. I was looking at my arms. I'll try that. I'll have to try the game back. Need a lot more protein in my diet. Okay, so what have I missed? I think today I'm going to be going up to Caelid. I have to pick up this and I think go up to Caelid. Ooh, what do my old notes from 2 weeks ago say? I missed the legendary talisman. That is true. And that's it. That's the only... okay, that's good. I like that. That's the only thing that I have to worry about. So let's just do it. Let's do it, baby. Okay, America's Soreseal. This... I don't know what this is. I actually didn't even know that this was here, because I always get so preoccupied with the big dragon dude. It's up here. Raises attributes but increases damage taken, so it's another one of these. This must be for... yeah, it's for all the magic things. It can't really be as worthwhile as Radagon's, because it raises stats that are not core stats. Because as I mentioned before, Elden Ring kind of has 2 builds in a way. Pick either intelligence or faith. That's just kind of how the game is made. And this one raises both intelligence and faith, so already it's kind of, you know... but still, having a plus arcane is kind of nice, I suppose. Especially if you're trying not to level it all. An eye engraved with an Elden rune, if you say so. Said to be the seal of Queen Marika. Raises mind, intelligence, faith, and arcane, but also increases damage taken. These seals represent the lifelong duty of those chosen by the gods. If you say so, buddy. Is there anything to... they do look like eyes, and... people do be ripping eyes out, so maybe this used to be an eyeball. Maybe it's like the Shibiri grape thing. I don't know. Probably not. But all the same, you can see that the insignia right there in the center appears to be the rune that they're talking about. And I would say that the fact that it looks like an eye at least is intentional. So it could be a real eye. Who knows? Not going to think too much about it right now. Okay. So we're done down here, I think. So now we will go up top and we'll roam around up here and cavort and be free and merry and gay and so forth and so on. I guess we'll just start where we started, which will be right smack dead here. Alright, this is probably going to be a shorter episode today. Like, actually, I think seriously it's going to be a shorter episode today, because I'm trying not to overexert myself. Even though mentally I'm fine again, physically my body just took such a huge amount of damage that I'm kind of just still kind of poopy in that respect. Okay. Maybe I'll talk about that, maybe not. I kind of already nearly wept myself about it on some Twitch streams that I was doing. So I really don't see too much of a point, especially in a Elden Ring LP. Really not that important. But it is kind of important in a way. But anyways, the gist of what's been going on lately is that I have been streaming on Twitch, because the internet has some... This is one of the things that actually kind of set me off, because I felt like nothing was getting better in life. That's one of the main things that I was thinking at the time. And part of that was the fact that the internet was, again, going bad, and I was dropping huge amounts of frames, like 90%, which makes it pretty much impossible to upload videos. It makes it impossible to stream, certainly. So I was just really worn down. I think I've just been really worn down for a very long time, and I've just never addressed it. I guess briefly I'll sort of explain that. But over a long amount of time, I've explained it to other people as, over the years, like since I had such a crummy upbringing. Oh yeah, you. Since I had such a crummy upbringing, it's often felt like to me that I've lost about 10 years of my life, in the sense that it took a long time to recover from the damage that was done to me, and it's taken a lot of time also, like, you know, my 30s and so on, to try to situate myself into a spot where I feel like I'm financially comfortable, and I can actually do stuff again. So as a result, I've just never really had much of a life, ordinarily. I see you. Not gonna worry too much with these guys. Ooh, there's a lot of you, though. So as a result, you know, lately I've made sort of a mental decision that I'm going to do stuff like go to cons and try to go out and meet people and try to stay in contact with friends and make new friends and stuff like that. So if you're like, he seems a little bit different, it's not. I am different, guys. Seriously, no, it's it's nothing quite like that. But yeah, I've had a sort of a minor amount of internal change, I suppose. So I've been trying to intentionally be a little bit more positive than I have in the past. Which, if you didn't notice in my prior LP parts, that's kind of what I was talking about. Is I don't like being angry at the video game. It just makes me feel bad. It makes me feel bad whenever I have to be critical of things. And that was part of... I was thinking about doing a big debut after I had actually gotten my real internet one day, which looks like that'll... it could never happen, I don't know. But part of my little rebranding, if you don't know, I use a VTuber on Twitch, and I'm a little kitty cat. I am a lynx named Gripes, and he's purple, and he's a kitty cat, and he watches YouTube videos sometimes, and draws pregnant women eating pizza. But aside from that, he's a bit more positive, I would say. I sort of have always had this persona that I've developed on this main channel. Like, I've always misrepresented myself slightly, because whenever I started the channel, as I mentioned, how I got my name was... I forgot about you guys, the troop. Oh, they're so suspicious. How I initially got my name was... I knew that I really liked analyzing things and breaking them down, but for so much of my life I've been told that I was just complaining. Wow, they can get you out of it. I've always been told that I was complaining, so I wanted to get ahead of the curve. Yeah, I don't think that's too effective. And... actually, no. This one. There we go. Yeah, that works better. Oh. And just name myself something where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna complain. And especially at the time, I didn't look like my YouTube avatar, and I still don't. But that's kind of how I felt internally, you know, like a creepy old man in a way. I've always felt old, even whenever I was young, I always felt old. So, point being, I've always sort of misrepresented myself online for all this time. Which is why I think a lot of people, once they saw the kitty cat avatar, were like, oh, that's creepy. Because they're so used to this idea that I'm, you know, creepy, gray farmer that doesn't have color in his palette. Which is fine. But yeah. I'm trying to be more honest with the person that I am, as opposed to trying to play a character on the show, as it were. So that's what's been going on with me. So if you're worried about me, you don't need to be worried about me. Like, I'm doing okay now. I feel a little bit less angry to maybe that's part of what it was. Like, you notice with these guys, them and grab me, who cares? I will try to avoid them, though, all the same. Oh, look at that, I killed all of them. Aren't I a good boy? But, yeah, I don't feel quite as upset anymore. Ooh, a single mushroom, look at that. Why were you guys carrying around mushrooms? Yeah. Kind of interesting psychological things going on with me lately. Again, nothing to be concerned about, just interesting. But all the same, if I seem a little bit more mellow for the next episode... I was about to say episodes, but like, maybe this will just last one episode. Maybe it'll last 20 minutes. Then that's what that is. Okay. That's really all I wanted to say about it, though. Alright. I've never really explored up here. This is one of those things where it's open world, and like I was saying a few parts ago, I think, it being open world, it doesn't really service it too much because, you know, like up here, what's up here? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's like a single model of a tree and nothing else. A couple little herb leaves. That's it. You can go anywhere and explore and do anything, except 90% of it will be a complete void. That sort of thing. Alright. I also think it's kind of easier... Hello, guys. What are you? Oh, whoa, you guys? Oh yeah, we are near Erd Tree, aren't we? Look at that. Actually do this. There we go. Not that one. Really, Flame of Frenzy is just really... It's a little bit too nice. Since the last time I played, there have been some patches. The one that people are probably talking about the most in regards to changes is probably... Actually, I really don't need to fight you guys. I'm just kind of screwing around. Was, the fact that big weapons got a, like, damage increases and speed increases and stuff like that. I'm not going to go over patch notes or anything, but yeah, stuff like that has changed. So... that is very slightly better. I was looking at some animation, like speed tests, like comparing the two. You honestly can't really tell in one swing. They look almost exactly the same. But if you do a bunch of swings over time, then it's a little bit more noticeable. But still, a good change is a good change. I think they looked at their internal testing and realized, yeah, no one's using this stuff. And then they went and used it themselves, perhaps, and were like, oh yeah, it's because it kind of sucks. Okay. So, let's just take things one step at a time. I've never actually tried using my little duders here. Don't really have to. Let's see. You over there, and there is birds over there. It seems like the birds are a little bit more in tune with nature, and will see you and rush at you and peck you, and I don't want that in my life. That's not part of my religion. Come to me, my sweet. Whoops. I'm not used to fighting these guys. Okay. So I don't know what their animation set looks like. It's kind of similar to the ordinary dogs in a way. See, it was good that I didn't play Elden Ring for a while, or else... I think that's really part of it. Man, he's got a lot of big boy points. Like, I think the fact that I was just playing Elden Ring so much in the way that I had been, like recording it, also probably wore me down over time, if I had to take a wild guess. Because, let's face it, good changes to personality aside, and positive changes to personality aside, we're still playing Elden Ring. Well, hello there, sweetheart! I got Greatsword, what do you got? A big beak? Who's really got more going in their life? It's probably you, actually. This quite a large beak. I do indeed fear it. Please allow me to live. Okay, let's get away from the big scary bird, which will chase you to the ends of the earth if given a chance. And take a look at Greatsword. Oh, by the way, I tried to prepare a bunch of swords ahead of time because, wow, one of the last things that I did in the prior parts was get the ability to do this. And in the last part, I think I was using dual sights because that was something that I had been leading up to. Yes. And before that, I got the ability to put fire onto stuff, which I will mention does not work on all arts. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Like, anything that is a generic art, like this stuff, like all the generics, the ones that are just like totally gray, you can put fire on those if you have the little fire dealie. You can't do it on magic. You can't do it on gravity. Yeah, you can use it on fire, obviously, yes. Not on poison or blood, or, you know, you get the idea. So if anything is particular, then you cannot infuse it with fire. Yet, as far as I know. I don't know if that ever changes or not. But all the same, yes, that is the thing. So, to that end, I have actually gone through and put a bunch of different weapon arts and a bunch of different weapons so that I can freely interchange them. Like my Greatsword here, my little Zweihander. And I might use the... I could probably use that. I think I can... What is my strength like? Oh yeah, I could use that. What is the most that I... That's what I should do today. That's what I should do. I should go grab this. Because I actually do need the... Scar? No, Sore. I need the Soreseal. And that will allow me to finally complete my build. Because once I have that, my stats will go up from... What are they now? They're +3. They're +3. So they'll go up +2. So I think I'll have 58 Vigor, which is good. That's whenever it tapers off. And like 23 Strength and 25 Dexterity. Which will be half of that. Okay, 12, 23, 35. Yeah. That'd be more than enough. I could go up to 35, I think. Unless my math is bad, which it often is. So that's nice. So let's try to accomplish that today. That'll be our goal for the day. I should probably also either use my spells more. Which, honestly, I still don't have many spells that I'm like, oh yeah, this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I really don't have too many of those. Flame of Frenzy is probably my favorite spell just because it actually does sort of... You know what I would like to have? I would like to have a ranged spell that just groups enemies together. You know how you have Repel or Wrath of God or, you know, stuff like that? Where you do big attack and it sends everyone away? I want something that does the inverse of that. No. Bad dog. No, sir. What's this? Ooh, man in chair. Summersmithing stone. Ooh. Soldier no like doggy. Alright. Let us proceed. It actually looks like there's nothing over here, honestly. There might be something in this little part of the camp over here. Let's run around like an asshole. You can't touch me. You touch me a little bit, and you touch my horse. Alright. Ooh, there's a treasure chest. No. No. Bad crow and dog. Can't you see that I'm trying to be a rapscallion right now? Wow, they actually like broke my poise. That's amazing. I should probably get on my horse again. Alright, come on. Whoa, I've never seen that! Alright, come on. I wonder what weapon art that I actually have. Let's find out. I can't remember what I put on this thing. Oh yeah, Wild Strikes, I think. Look what you made me do. I was trying to spare your lives because I'm so noble. But in the end, that's all that matters. Oh, here it is. I actually, because everything has been destroyed, I actually could not figure out where the chest went. Alright, what is this? Oh, a single... Oh, thank God. Heaven knows I was aching for more of those. You know, I don't think I've ever actually used one before. I was kind of joking, but I actually think I've never used one. Okay, that should be everything that's over in this area. And just for the sake... I could just warp to one of those points that I've gotten before. But no need. I suppose I can just go do it the hard way. But I should probably grab this Grace, since I'm right here. Won't be doing this just yet. Might do it today, though. Yeah. One thing I do like doing is switching weapons pretty frequently. I want to use that, too. Oh yeah, I also upgraded this great axe that I got a hold of. Have I read this? Bulky cleaver welded to a long haft, said to have been used to dispatch the remnants and defeat enemies felling them like timber. Perhaps this is the reason it excels at critical hits. Yes, because I had to explain that this is the great axe that I got from a skeleton that was like right is like over here somewhere, I think. But it's from like one skeleton, and it just, that skeleton doesn't appear anywhere else. Summoning pool. I would have definitely forgotten about you. Alright. That is complete. Something that I was, if I remember correctly, going to try to do was use 2 maces at the same time, but I also knew that I was going to an area that had lots of big naughty dogs that wanted to bite me and, you know, give me injuries that were injurious to my body. So I decided maybe big weapon instead of small weapon. So ultimately I decided against it. Because again, Elden Ring does not really care for, oh yeah, I've already done this. Elden Ring does not care for most things. Alright, and I think the merchant is up there. Yes, it is. Okay, we're still on our way. Let's go ahead and sort of map things out all the same. I've already been to this merchant and bought all of his stuff. But I may as well show the path up there. So you go up here, you go up the little mountainside. There are more dogs, more naughty doggies. Also, even though they seem to be very hungry, they're very hungry boys, they don't actually bother the sheep that are in the area. And the sheep themselves also don't really seem to have any ill effects from scarlet rot. I am not certain why. Honestly, this whole situation that they've got going on is kind of confusing, but we'll just leave them to it, you know? Are you trying to chase me, good sir? He is. What a rascal. Okay. Let's explore all this over here. Just to show that there's nothing here. Ooh, red eyes. Red Eyes Black Doggy. I play Red Eyes Black Doggy. Red Eyes Black Doggy. Use annoying bite. It missed. What the fuck? No, this. I thought this was a chair that had an item in it. It was a bald eagle. Alright, it doesn't actually look... Oh, wait, no. No, this is a... Is this a... Oh, there is a thing over here. I hear something chasing me. Or maybe not. Sir, you gonna behave yourself? You're not gonna get me the... Okay. Oh, look at Sky Shot. Look at that. Look at that. No, I'm gonna look again. You can't stop me. Look at that. So maybe this is your way of seeing that something is down there? I don't know. There's a big jar over there. And I'm gonna leave. I prefer not to be shot again, if possible. What is that note? Oh, it's the music. I never even noticed the music. I kept thinking that I thought that was like footsteps, but no, it was in fact the ambience of a world that insists upon my death. My mistake. I can't remember if I actually read off all the... Oh, hello. Oh, you again. Well, okay. If anyone is here to put me in a bad mood, it's definitely gonna be you. Wow, that's not doing much damage. This is gonna be a fun time. Yeah. Yeah, let's avoid this thing that's actually taking off 50% of my health in one swing. Yeah, the game has sensed that I'm in a slightly good mood. It's like, this is Elden Ring, baby. Can't have that. I wonder if something else will deal more damage to him. Oh, I don't actually have... I don't have my little black fire thing. The Crucible Tail thing, I could use that, I suppose. Ooh, you're fast. What a fast boy. I do have lightning. I can try that. 329 doesn't do quite enough. Maybe Flame of Frenzy itself, but he'll probably actually hit me before I actually get in range for it. Alright. No, sir. Go ahead and use it. Whoops, too fast. Oh ho! It actually hurts him. Look at that. Of course, the doggy does not much care for that. He doesn't actually care. I take top priority. I am the player character, after all. They do not care about each other. This is kind of funny. But it is also irritating beyond reckoning. I better get rid of the dog first. Come on, Puppo. You done? No, he's not. Ooh, that did a lot of damage. Wow, that does do a lot of damage. Come here, come here. Come here, sweetie pie. Oh, don't input read. I have noticed that, like, the more that I play, the more that I've recognized that a lot of opponents just blatantly input read. Ah, I thought it would hit him. Which you can sort of use to your advantage sometimes, but not often. Oh well. Yeah, I've come to the internal understanding that I just don't really care for Elden Ring. So I tend to not really get too angry at it lately. Then again, I haven't been playing it, so maybe that's part of it too. Like once you... I don't know, it kind of feels like going through a bitter breakup, you know? Where you get to the point where you're like, you know, we're just not meant to be. And once you reach that internal conclusion, then you kind of just, I don't know, kind of give up on the relationship one way or the other. Ooh. I should close my window, even though it's going to get really hot. You can probably hear that train. There are indeed trains near this area. Believe it or not. I can't believe it! There are trains in this date? Yeah. Anyways. I really don't see much of a point to sticking around trying to fight that guy. I'll just mark him and leave. Okay, that's done. You gonna... No? Okay, if you say so, buddy. Alright. So that's done. I could go to the tower. I could go to the tower, but there's really no point to doing so. Yeah, I'll just continue on. I'll stick on course. Which is this way, right? Yes. Okay, so this is going to get kind of complicated. Alright. For those of you that are watching along... if you remember the last part or the part before that, I don't remember, we went up a well, and we came up to an area that had like a really awful bear. And I don't think I've actually... No, I didn't do anything there. I kind of went up there and I said, look at that awful bear. Then we left. So that's where that was, right here. It's in a deep cavern, and that's the only way of actually accessing it without dying from falling damage. But if you go down this little trench, you end up where that giant firing arrows was, and that's where the big pot is, this guy over here. Which we will not be doing today. I'm going to stay in my good mood. Damn it all. So, bearing that in mind, and I think I don't need this. Okay, good. And this is marking the fact that there's still a boss in that area. And we just got the naughty scarab that was right there, so that's done. That's good. So we've been all through here. This is where we started. This is where the pack of Michael Jackson Thriller dancers were. This is where the Greatsword and the naughty boys were. And that one treasure chest. Did I actually read? I didn't read the Greatsword, did I? It's just a Berserk reference, so it won't matter too much if I forget again. And then we cross over here, and this is where we are now. This is where the merchant is, and Mr. Cheater Man. So just bear in mind that this next sequence, we're trying to avoid going past this threshold, because this is a cliff. We'll just be sticking right above it, as far as your internal logic for the game map happens to go. Along the way, there are many big white pustule things on the ground that presumably have something to do with Scarlet Rot. What that is, I don't know. And that thing right there is the map that we got whenever we first came here. Here's a big tree. Okay, if you can hear the wheezing, that means that there are dragons about. He's over there. Yeah, you can barely see him. There he is. So there he is over there. Dragon. This is actually the start of the Dragonbarrow's area. That is the Divine Tower in this area. I probably won't go there this episode, but it is there. Because it's sort of a much higher level area, and I am at max level as far as my meta stuff goes, but yeah, not for the time being. So, let's see. Greatsword, this thing I was trying to read. Greatsword. A coarse iron lump of an ultra greatsword. Mows down foes by utilizing its incredible weight. It is a good weapon. Though handling it likely requires the wielder to have surpassed the realm of merely human, it is precisely for this reason that the weapon is used to slaughter even inhuman foes. So yeah, this is basically the Berserk homage, which they have been doing in every single one of the games, but, you know, since the creator died, then it's definitely not going to be the final homage, but, you know, it's like a more vital, important one, I suppose. And we did find it here, and it was on one of those little carriages. And remember, those things are used presumably by the nobility to move important stuff in a caravan from one place to another. So supposedly, though, because remember, we found some of the guards in the area that were fighting the dogs. Like, they rose up out of the ground and started fighting them. So presumably, a bunch of these dog things attacked them whenever they were trying to leave. So if I had to guess, they were probably coming from here, from Redmane Castle, going up through here, up this road, and were actually trying to escape over into Limgrave. And this whenever they were attacked and ultimately defeated. So, a little bit of minor storytelling that doesn't really go anywhere, but, yeah, it's there. Unfortunately, I've never done too much in Caelid before, necessarily, as far as looking around goes. But there are many dragons, and we're going to be running past them to try to get to where we need to be. So when it comes to analyzing this area, then I'm really not going to know too much in regards to what's going on. Because apparently a lot of that stuff gets explained much later. So what exactly the Scarlet Rot is, I don't know. Why exactly these dragons are here, I don't know. Why is this stuff all white? I don't know. Scarlet Rot, I guess? I don't know. Why are dragons hairy? I don't know. I do know that this big dragon doesn't really move. Or I think according to Zuli, it actually used to have attack animations, but it's so big that the game engine kind of can't handle it, and it just falls apart. Another thing I know about this guy is a lot of people rush up here to kill him to get, I think, like 40,000 souls, 42,000, something like that. And I think, I don't know if they patched this or not, I never actually tried it myself, but I think you can actually kill this guy, get on your horse, and rush back over here, and sit down at this point of grace. And if you manage to get here before the death animation completes, you'll get the souls for him dying, but he will respawn. So you can actually farm him by just doing that over and over again. Although that may have been an early patch thing, I don't know. Or maybe it never worked at all, and I was deceived. Maybe I was deceived. Who knows? I've been deceived before. I've been deceived many times. Especially by my father. That really wasn't based in reality. I just thought it sounded sinister. Okay, let's see. We are actually here now. I've actually showed this before. Now that I'm level 150 instead of level 1, like nothing. Level 1 nothing. Let's see how well we do without using summons. Wow, they still have lots of health. Man, that's one of the weaker ones, too. Well, I guess I'll summon our little duders in. Let's put on my lantern, too. Let's do that. Alright, let's walk in and show ourselves around. I am a mage of some sort. I remember now. That does a little bit of damage. As long as they're all down to like 1 health state, fine. Oh, it missed. This should be okay. Oh, don't fly behind that. I wanted to show you a good time. Not you show me a good time. Okay. My disdain for things being unfair has not gone away. I guess it's just that I don't care if this is unfair anymore. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, this is one of the ones that have shit tons of health. Bad bat. Such a bad bat. And so naughty. Man, you have so much health. It's crazy. I have to go, like, through 3 stamina bars to get rid of that guy. Oh. Come here, sweetheart. Man, even using the weapon art. Oh. They do drop some nice little runes, though. That's one thing I'll give them. Oh, hello. You're still alive. It's still blowing. I think what's actually going on, I think the logic of the bats is guano. Like, bats are actually pretty filthy creatures because they live in very tight spaces with one another, so they transmit diseases quite easily. Diseases from their faeces. And they do shit upside down, sort of. They try to, like, grapple and then turn their bodies the other while still hanging from the ceiling. It's much more difficult for them. But they will still sometimes get quite a bit on their bodies. But their living space is also absolutely brimming with bacteria as a result. So, they are pretty nasty little guys. But I think actually what's happening is that it seems like those guys are like digging shit out of their butts and then throwing it at you with their feet. No, they're not, but they are. They totally are. Oh, hello. How'd you survive? You must have been on the ceiling. There you go. That's the one you want. You want my ghost. Come on, Padooter. There you go. I think part of why I'm in a slightly better mood is because I've actually feel like I've been making more friends lately. What the hell was that? Oh, I must have accidentally pressed the R2 button. It's mainly just the security of knowing that you actually have friends, I guess. That's been part of my problem. is just the fact that I feel like I've just been working for so long for really no reason. Just trying to pull myself out of a hole that I was born in. There we go. Take this medallion right. If you remember, that is the other half of the medallion that we're going to need to use the elevator. So we can use that now. We don't necessarily have to, but it's there. I've already shown it. We don't need to look at it. It's nothing important anyways. I could jump over there if I want. You remember if there's an item over here? I think there is. There is not. There is merely death. Excellent. Sir, please. Yeah. I keep conflating the things that I remember saying on my Twitch streams with the things that I've said in the LP. So I'm getting myself kind of confused. But all the same, one of the things that I have been talking about a lot lately on stream anyways is the idea that a lot of what's important, and this goes for Elden Ring too, actually. A lot of things that are important in life, and Elden Ring, is being able to know that you have control over things. Like, even if your life circumstances are not good, being able to feel like you're actually improving them, and that you have chances, and you have opportunities. So even if things are very bad, if you feel like, no, I still have control, I'm still in command of my own life. I still have the ability to make things better, and it is definitely not too late. If you still have that, then I feel like you can still be happy quite easily. Now, as far as translating that into Elden Ring, that's probably where my part of the irritation with fairness comes from. Because definitely in Elden Ring and to some degree, like Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3. Maybe Sekiro, I don't know. Maybe even Dark Souls 2 at some point, especially those stupid horses, right? There are some cases where you actually feel like the game is treating you unfairly, and it really doesn't matter what you do. Or the solutions are just so specific that you're not allowed to enjoy yourself. You know, stuff like that. As small as that is, even though it's just video game related, removing your agency in that way actually does, like, give you a worse time. That goes hand in hand with it, I guess. I'm trying to get these ghosties to spawn in. Look at that guy. What a cheating asshole. He wouldn't spawn in whenever I was right next to him. Oh, you. Help him out. Yeah, having wilds... Wow! That was a big hit. I'll just rush up here. My little summon 8 shit at the end there. Yeah, I think I'm at the point, and also I'm wearing kind of crummy armor, but honestly, it's, you know, armor in Elden Ring doesn't really matter too much. But I think I'm at sort of the point in the game where it just doesn't matter anymore. You're going to be getting 2-shot killed on a regular basis, one way or the other. So it's kind of just, it's going to start happening. There's not much to be done about it. Now let's see if one of these bats rushes in here to pull poop out of its butt and throw it directly up into the air. Oh, he's trying. He's trying. Not quite make it, though. Alright. Okay. What would be best served here? Oh, well, I guess it's going to be Godric Soldier Ashes. I should not have done that. It is kind of weird that whenever you have spawn-ins like that, you can't actually backstab them, but you can hit them. Like, it won't initiate the backstab animation. I kind of get it, but a little bit strange. Okay. Yeah, the summons don't seem to trigger them. We'll just walk around until some guys spawn in. Whoop. Oh. I don't really mind the Godric, these soldier types, because they are very Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2 especially style enemies where they are dangerous, but they're very fair. For the most part, anyways. Like, they're slow and they're set at a very specific pace. They don't have any overt moves that are... What was I calling them? Bitch moves? They don't have any of those, really. Is there anything in there? I don't think so. Let me take care of this guy first. The more that I think about it, the more I agree with my past self, in the sense that Elden Ring feels like, I was thinking about this the other day, like, sorceries and spells. Why? If you're going to try to make spells more of a thing, yeah, you can't actually get inside this thing. It doesn't matter, it doesn't look like there's anything in it. If you're going to make spells, sorceries, incantations, whatever, more of a thing, you have to make them... You have to make there be a reason for why you would want to use them. Because, like, what I'm doing right now, presumably I am a faith user, right? But I don't really use them that much. And that's because I'm experienced enough that I don't really need to, for the most part. Not that I never die or anything, obviously, but, you know, most of the time you really don't need to. So it feels like they've actually been giving enemies more unfair moves, because they're like, well, just... If the enemy is going to cheat, then they're going to cheat, so just stand back and try to cheat yourself. Which honestly does seem to be their logic with a lot of the enemy design. Hello there. Can you guys handle him, please? Billy and Ted. What's your names now? Yeah, there's actually not really any point to killing these guys up here. I kind of just felt like it. So that's where we came in. We don't want to fall down there. And as far as I know, there's no reason to fall down here. Yeah, that just leads back into the pit. What the hell? Oh yeah, there are soldiers being hung up here, aren't there? I haven't really paid any attention to this, but... Yeah. Excuse me? What's going on? Just freaking out? Okay, you do that, buddy. I may as well go ahead and get rid of this stuff. But in here in Fort Faroth, it does look like there have been some executions happening. Which is kind of interesting. Because it looks like 100% of the executions were of basic foot soldiers. Maybe that's always the case. Maybe they always use that model on these. I don't know. But there's definitely no soldiers all the same. Ah, look at that. That's what I was trying to be wary of. Oh, that's nice. See, this is the reason why... Did you fall down that... Okay. No! No! You also go in pit. Haha. Can you throw him in the pit too? See, the enemies are always way too concerned about me. I was actually trying to keep him alive so I could push him hilariously into the pit as well. No, don't you go in there as well. Ah, well. They're they're gone. Alright. Let's see, what's in here? Looks like some barrels. It looks like this was mainly used for storage. Because there's some... I was actually about to use the word, but it's inappropriate these days. There are some bundles of sticks up here that are mainly used for kindling. Jars with nothing in them, actually. And a single rat. Single naughty rat. Whoa. Frame rate dip. Oh, cool. No, wow, they... I was about to blame my stats, but... No, it's the upgrade... It's the upgraded level of my weapon. Like, so much of your damage... This is one of the weird things about this game. the upgrade values of, like, my seal here, or the weapons, factor into a lot of your damage. I'm not sure how they handle damage, though, to your, like, your armor. Whoa. Calm down, everybody. I'm trying not to get attacked by these bats as well. Alright, here we go. Now, let's try to get his attention. Yeah, that's right. Come get me. And now for the big one. Hello, big rat. I'm the king rat. Come forth and... oh. So long, king rat. Alright. Mission complete, boys. There we go. Radagon's Soreseal. And unfortunately we're not allowed to leave the area because they're angry at us. So once we're out of here, I'll read that description. And it still won't let me. I could always just dip out like this. They're so angry. Okay, let's see if I can get out of here without actually getting killed. Ooh, the rats and the bats have made alliance. Once more. Unfortunately, I made alliance with cowardice long ago. Look at that. Alright. Now I can finally exchange that out and we're done with this whole shimsharoo. Soreseal, Soreseal. Again, to me, a scar is much worse than being sore. Maybe it's just a matter of it. Like they wanted the scar seal sort of a... not syncopation, but alliteration, is that what I'm thinking? But they wanted that nice little sound to it, you know? What would have been a better word? Because I get what they're going for. Like, this is like you're feeling pain. Like you're actually in pain by wearing it. Whereas this one is more like you've recovered from the pain, but it still left its mark. Maybe that's what they're going for. And that's the reason why this one is supposed to be worse. Go ahead and equip it. Radagon Soreseal. What does that say? Yeah, same thing. This legendary talisman is an eye engraved with an Elden rune, said to be the seal of King Consort Radagon. So, since they're calling him King Consort, this might indicate that this was made after he banged his mother, or whatever's going on there. Greatly raises vigor, endurance, strength, and dexterity, but also creates damage to me in some measure. Solemn duty weighs upon the one beholden, not unlike a gnawing curse from which there is no deliverance. So I guess the reason why this, maybe the implication is that Radagon committed the big eye because that was his duty. As in my fanfic. Alright, so that is complete. I can now stop worrying about my stats. These are indeed the final stats, for the time being. I might change them up later, I'm not quite sure. I feel like I don't have enough FP, honestly. But I don't know where to pull it from otherwise. I could probably pull off endurance, because that hasn't been that much of a concern. It's kind of just nice being able to not have to worry about it. But I could probably do that. I could also probably reduce my dexterity, because I think there's only like one weapon that I actually wanted to use that requires as much dex. So I could probably pull about 10 more levels off of that, so I could pump up to 37 mind. Yeah, I could reroll a little bit. Do some house cleaning in that regard. Okay, well, that is complete. Let's go ahead and go over here. Try to clean whatever that is out. And then go over here as well. Then after that, we'll go down... maybe go down this way. It might be nice to clear out this area as well. Go visit the rolling rock area that we never bothered to do first time around. But here's more of these walls that they were using to try to conceal the Scarlet Rot, from my understanding. Didn't seem to do too good of a job. I'm still curious why exactly it's still glowing after all this time. This is the one thing that I never quite figured out. Alright, what do we got going on here? Random ruinous archway that makes no sense. Cool, cool. Another kind of weird thing with these cliffs... No, I guess that does make sense. But yeah, with these cliffs, sometimes they do have these things where it's obviously a constructed area. So I imagine at some point they just needed this to be a wider area that would not collapse, so they stabilized it using these things. Like, all the ruins down here, there's so many things that just don't make any sense. But this... Like, all the... Horsey face? Please, sir. But all the ruins that are down there, there's just so many of them. That had to be something. But honestly, it looks like it was... Not like an aqueduct system, but it was just a series of little stepping bits of these little archway constructions that led down. But it wasn't like an even slope, so it's not as though they were used for stairs or something. Just, why did those things exist? It just makes no sense to me. I mean, it looks neat, but... That's one of my things about this game, is that I kind of have a hard time trying to... Oh, bat. I have a hard time trying to figure out if something was legitimately... Like, if it has any storytelling to it, or if it was just placed there haphazardly because it's an open world game. They just didn't have time. Oh. I don't really like it when enemies do that. Whenever you catch them out. Like, you catch them in what I would call their punishment animation, where they miss a big attack and you dodge successfully. Dogs do this too. And instead of you being rewarded with a chance to deal some damage, they'll just automatically dodge away. So really the only people that can actually damage them in that circumstance will probably be a ranged character, sorcerer or something like that. Could be better. Okay. Now where was I going? Oh yeah, we're trying to avoid going down the cliff right here. Although I could drop down here. That's not a big deal. Let's grab this, get down there, grab that probably catacomb. Oh, he's angry again. What was I marking here that was so important, I wonder? Maybe it's up here. Get him! He's learning about lore! Smithing stone. Stone sword key. Smithing stone 8. Smithing stone 7. Oh, they're so angry. So angry that I've learned about rock. About item on rock. So yeah, there's more nobles that are sitting in chairs. We still have no idea what's going on in that regard. But yep, nobles were up here sitting in chairs. And they seem to be carrying items with them. What they were doing, I don't know. But good for them, you know? They set their sights on a goal, and they presumably accomplished it. Maybe. Or completely failed. We don't know. We don't have enough context for it. But, you know, let's be positive and just assume that they succeeded. Good for them. Unless they failed, in which case they can go fuck themselves. Alright. Probably stuff over here. There's a random graveyard. Hello. Beast blood.
What's that smell? It's a guy in a hat. And he looks awfully confused about where he is. What's that smell? It's me. Sneaking behind that man in a hat. What's that smell? It's damage. Free damage.
Oh, he's a battle mage, that's what he is. Didn't expect me to be cool, did you? I'm cool. Alright, doesn't look like it doesn't look like anything else is here. Yeah, just a bunch of gravestones just sitting out here. And a corpse that had beast blood on it. What does that mean? I don't know, man. You guys want to look at the description for beast blood? Let's look at, you know, let's Let's look at the description of Beast Blood. Why is that? Why did I leave a marker here? There has to be something around here that I'm not seeing. Let's look. Yeah, let's look at Beast Blood. Let's look at Beast Blood. Fresh Beast Blood glinting with gold. Gold! Which we know, of course, is associated with Erd Tree, because Erd Tree make gold. Erd Tree, big pissy tree. Shoot piss all over. Found by hunter carnivorous beasts, this glimmering blood never rots or decays. Meaning it's just gross forever. Very awesome. Okay, I must have marked there being... I would not have used this icon unless there was actually something there. Sounds like there's a naughty dragon up there that wants to come down. So there has to be something around here that will... If I don't see it, then I'll just try to come back later when I have more time. Because, like I said, I'm not particularly used to this area. It could be that there's something under here. I don't quite know. More gravestones everywhere. Maybe this is the lower area that the people in the fort used to bury all their dead. Then again, most of the gravestones are pretty elaborate, so that doesn't really make a lot of sense either. But this is also Elden Ring, where a lot of environmental storytelling doesn't actually make a lot of sense. So we'll let it slide. Hello, boys. You're up and early. Okay, let's go down here. Here's one of these big sort of sundial things, which I think are actually used to collect starlight. Yep, starlight shards. So that's my best guess as far as what those things do. I don't actually know. We'll wait on Vadi to figure it out, then I'll claim that I knew it all along. Okay, nothing down here, as far as I know and remember. I do remember that there's a naughty man that pops out right here. And that's the guy that has a Executioner axe. They're apparently quite rare. Okay, anything else down here? Doesn't really look like it. Nah, just some old squiddy boys. Aha, there's this here. Okay. It's another one of these churches. There's a crying lady. We can talk to her. Elden Ring is just such an organic experience, you know? Just things just happening all the time. Who cares if you miss out on content or screw up your save file? Just play the game 50 more times. You'll discover new things every time. That's how good games are, right? I was thinking about this. I've been asked several times in the past to do a playthrough of Disco Elysium. Because I've said this sometimes, but I think that Disco Elysium might arguably be... This is how I think. Disco Elysium might arguably be the best video game ever made, in a sense. Like, I know that anytime that you say that about anything, it's a really tall order to fill. Think for yourself, what would you guys consider to be the best video game ever made? Is the best game ever made a best game ever made because you played it when you were 12, for example? Then it probably isn't. Is the best game ever made something because you think it's personally really, really cool? Then it probably isn't. Is it the best game ever made because it's artsy-fartsy? Then it probably isn't. But if something is achieving exactly and nailing, like hitting things out of the park as far as achieving all of its internal goals and being the best version of itself that it possibly can be, is it the best game ever made? Maybe. Slightly better argument. So there's a lot of different factors that I'm not going to go into, but Disco Elysium does a really good job of a lot of those factors. That's why sometimes I say that. Although it's a very contentious subject either way, so definitely a lot of wiggle room. But Disco Elysium, great game. However, in playing Disco Elysium, it would drive me insane if I was doing an LP of it, because it's a game that you want to milk dry as far as like content goes for your Let's Play. You want to show off as much as you possibly can, right? But it's also made with the intent that you'll get a slightly different result every single time. Actually, I think I know who this is. So as a result, it's maybe not great for LP purposes for that reason, for me. because it would make me go crazy. I think that this person is someone named Millicent. And... oh, hello, look here. We have a plague message. We have a gripe message. What does it say? You don't have the right, you don't have the right. Plague message. What does that even mean? Nah. Good job. Good job, buddy. I have no idea what you're talking about. Good job. Seek necessary item. This was... learn, Mr. Gripeling. This is actually somewhat important. No, I'll go ahead and talk to her. Surely they wouldn't ruin that. But I remember... get rid of that. I remember... yeah, I'll just go ahead and...
who's there? Well,
wow, it actually kicked me out.
it matters not. If you are wise, you will leave immediately.
Oh, you're kind of hot.
Flesh writhes with scarlet rot.
Still hot.
It is a curse, not to be meddled with by man.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to remove this, and because I was standing next to her with the A prompt, trying to remove this with the A prompt actually caused it to interact for some bizarre reason. But whenever I was down here, I was using this because I was trying to farm Halo Size, and this is like the area where you do that, right? But if you wander too far over here, you get invaded by a red phantom. And that red phantom's name is Millicent. So I was actually kind of worried talking to her might somehow invalidate that. But it's already... damage is done.
If you are wise, you will leave immediately.
Okay, she says nothing.
My flesh writhes.
Ooh,
with
I thought the game almost
scarlet
crashed.
rot.
Like the game audio actually went out. Let's take a good look at her. She is missing an arm, it looks like. Yes, indeed. That looks like it just happened. Maybe she was afflicted with scarlet rot on her arm, and she felt like the only way of getting rid of it would be to dismember herself. If I had to guess. I seriously don't know anything about this character. Other than her name is Millicent, and she has red hair and apparently one arm. And she invades you. Okay. Since we just encountered her, I feel safe in going down here and trying to trigger this. This is a boss, if I remember correctly. So let's wander down here and do that real fast. I know that I haven't showed the means of actually getting to the swamp yet. It's not that complicated. You just ride over there and you're done. But we'll just try to knock this out as quickly as possible. So forgive me if this is too confusing. Good way of looking at it. What the... oh, right, these things. Yeah, these things are just erupting all over the place. Big pustules of duty just pouring out of the swamp. Okay, so... I've tagged that... remember how I went over here and I tagged the little summoning pool? And I was like, summoning pool, and I did a little song? And then all of you cried and wept because it was so beautiful. If you keep going down south, you'll just go down a road, which I think I've shown before. But if you take a right, you can just go down a hill and into a swamp, and that's where we are right now. And you can even see, like, the Divine Tower over there. And you can see the little road and such that we would have gone down. So, it's not that complicated. Now, let's see. I would like to try to avoid getting into a tangle with these guys. Whoop. Ah, good. What'd you drop for me, buddy? Ooh, another Halo Scythe and a Cleanron Helm. Look at that. Lucky me. I actually don't need it anymore. I actually had 3 of those, and I just trashed one of them. Okay, that's Commander O'Neill, I think his name is. Or Commander Neil or something. His name does not matter. I don't know anything about him. Okay, so this is the general area where that boss is going to show up. I farmed these guys quite a bit. So let's try to get rid of them. Oh, well, that's our sign. Let's try to get out of the Scarlet Rot. That's the one in... That's one of the reasons... That's the... See, Millicent. That's the main reason why I wanted to try to get rid of her as quickly as possible. Because if I need to do anything else here, the fact that she keeps spawning in like that is actually pretty annoying. Alright. Hello. Looks like she's using a Bloodhound Fang or something. Don't really recognize the weapon. Oh, she's using that thing. Oh, damn it. I knew that the second that I didn't finish that guy off, he would run over here and intervene. That's the reason why I was trying to get rid of him. But I couldn't stop and do it because I was stuck in that Scarlet Rot. Oh well, let's go back to what we were doing. Just do it again. It's a FromSoft game. Doing things over and over and over again and having the exact same experience is the intended path. Okay. Whoa. Calm down, video game. One thing that they have not patched, unfortunately, is the fact that the game freezes constantly. Where is... right here. Now, there was like one thing that I had been spoiled on, and that was because of... what's his name? The meme man that's been going around. Let me solar her. That guy. That's been going around lately. Well, sort of lately. It was like a week ago. But there was a guy, if you're viewing this years from now, you'll be like, oh yeah, that guy. But there was a guy that was fighting a boss whose name is like... Millennia or something. I think it's the one that has almost the exact same name as your helper lady, which is another confusing thing. And she apparently, obviously I've never seen her. I don't know where she is even. I don't really know anything about her. Other than she apparently is an incredibly unfair boss. So she gives people a lot of trouble and she's quite annoying. But there is a guy that wears a pot on his head. Actually, he's worn several things in the past. I've seen him also wear Radagon's set, I think. But he's most famous for being Naked Pot Man. Because the memes. Guys, come on. Man, you're not taking much damage. I must be doing this one-handed. Damn. Yeah, these guys are pretty annoying. I actually farmed them doing ranged attacks, so I'm kind of not used to doing this melee. Come on, R2. Oh well, just do R1s then. Well, lost it. I was charging an R2, but because I went up a hill, it freaked out. The main reason why these guys are annoying is because, of course, you're standing in Scarlet Rot, and the main thing they love to do is to stand back and spam their Halo scythe thing. It's basically like the only thing that they actually try to do. They don't much care for that, though. Oh, hello! Got another one over there. There we go. Okay. Now, maybe we can be a little bit more careful about what we were doing. Whoops. Okay, what do we want to use versus her? Probably the same stuff that I've been using before. Alright, let's just do it this way. Ah, yes. Why did I even think that I would be able to do this using my horse? I don't know why that went through my head. We'll start out with my sniper weapon. Come on here, Millicent. Now, does she actually have both arms right now? She does. Or she has at least the approximation of an arm. Which is curious to me. Hello. Did you enjoy that? I certainly did. That's pretty funny. Sacramental Bud. I'm your Sacramental Bud. Is that all she really drops? Golden Rune. Alright, well, if you say so. Let's look at the description for Sacramental Buds, if we can figure out where that is exactly. Orders acquisition on this, maybe? Yes, okay. Exceedingly rare to find. Oh, we found these all around the church where we encountered her. An immature bud. You're an immature bud, but you're my bud. Containing fresh blood. Material used for crafting items. Containing fresh blood. I wonder if it's beast blood then, if it supposedly doesn't go bad. Believed to originate long ago from a strain of buds cultivated with youthful sacramental blood. I guess not. Or maybe so. Maybe the reason why beast blood doesn't go bad is because it also is sacramental blood, or something. Honestly, not too concerned about it. So there you go. We got rid of that lady. She's gone. So don't have to worry about that anymore. Let's travel back immediately and have a discussion with our young lady. Ask her what exactly she thought she was up to. Just what do you think that you're doing? Maybe the idea is that we did this to her, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but yeah, maybe.
If you are wise, you will
Probably
leave
not.
immediately. My flesh writhes with scarlet rot.
Nope, guess not. Okay. Oh, look, it's him. It's really him. Oh, but yeah, that guy was fighting a boss that uses some sort of move that you get. She uses some sort of move that we just saw Millicent use, whatever it's called. And apparently the player version of it is way worse than the boss version. I did watch him fight her, whatever her name is, I can't remember. And I could tell that, yes, I will have trouble with that boss. And I also could tell that the main reason why you have so much trouble with it, I also heard that apparently she has regain features where, like, she regains health if she manages to hit you, which just sounds excellent. Just sounds excellent. Let's try to avoid all that. Thank you very much. Let's go back up this way, I suppose. But the way that he beats her is basically just backpedaling for a long, long time and waiting for her to do very, very, very specific moves where he'll get in like 1, maybe 2 hits and then just go back to kiting her. And then whenever she does her big special anime move that she does, he will dodge them into her attacks like 3 times in a row and then go back to what they were doing. So he makes it look very simple, because I guess in theory it is. It's just very, 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 very specific. Which tells me that it's probably not very fun if it requires him to be so incredibly precise with absolutely every single element of everything that he's doing all the time. To the point that every single time that he's been shown fighting her, he always does the exact same things. But I could be wrong. I don't have any experience with it. Hello. Hello, boys. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Now, I've been riding this direction. I can't actually remember what I was doing. Let's just ride in this general direction. We'll find something. I do know for a fact that there is some catacomb stuff around here. Still can't add. Here, let me fix this problem for you. This is another FromSoftism. This especially does not work particularly well with the open world. When enemies have aggro leashes that extend for like kilometers. Because then it basically ensures that you have to quit out just to get them to go away so that you can go back to what you're doing. This is kind of a minor irritation, I suppose. Yeah, there's something down here. Okay, so we basically cleared out everything that's on this upper ridge, from what I can tell anyways. And I feel like there's nothing... If there actually is like a stray item, it's probably nothing worth actually exploring. Because everything's pretty flat terrain. It's very samey, there's just nothing over here. Oh, there is a smashable thing here. How do you smash this, I wonder? I don't have a boss point. Maybe you have to attract a dragon down here? Maybe that's how you do it. All the same, down here. I can go ahead and grab this. Sometimes I wonder, like, these giant scarab balls. Oh, he's ready. Like, this one is clearly for FP, right? FP regain? Why is it so big? Maybe it's especially big because the logic of the scarabs is that they're rolling up... They're rolling up Ashes of War, and Ashes of War are like the memories left behind from strong warriors that have something to teach the future or something like that. So maybe the logic is that there has been so much death here that that's the reason why that they're so big, because they've spent a lot of time rolling up poopy. Maybe that's it. Oh, there's a gale. Guess I can go ahead and mark this for future reference. Not going to do this right now, though, because I'm trying to focus to some degree. Alright, it's right here. Okay, here it is. Let's try to be somewhat careful in doing this. Okay, good. Didn't take any damage. Alright, there's that naughty bear. And here's the cave, inside the cliff facing. Probably some people don't actually know this is here, but you can actually walk across if you want something safer. You can go over right there and cross this little tree bridge. Well, arguably safer. You might fall off. And then get down there this way. He said as he died. Now we're okay. Alright, there we go. I will not be doing this particular catacomb today, because I don't need to be in a bad mood. And if there is indeed a catacomb in the game that I'm aware of, this is it as far as being annoyed by it. Because that down there is Scarlet Rot. And it is almost impossible to get through this area without being afflicted by Scarlet Rot. Which is very irritating. This thing right here, this exploding thing, that should not be there. Like this, to me, this is the unforgivable part of this catacomb. It's the entrance, because you'll also notice there's no ladder. So if you go from this area right here, this point of grace, and you drop down, you can't get out. Because remember, if you have not completed the area, then you can't teleport. So you can't leave. So once you're in here, as far as I know. Unless there's some sort of other way that I'm not aware of that you can get out of here. So once that happens, if you die, you, of course, come back up here. So you can either leave whatever... Like if you show up here with like 70,000 runes, for whatever reason, or you end up gathering large amounts of them just trying to get through the area, you can't use them. They're just gone forever. You either have to beat that area without ever dying and losing your rune stack, or you have to just leave, just give up. And the fact that this thing right here is at the very entrance is the unforgivable part, because it will basically one-shot kill you if you cross it and you get hit by it. But at the same time, if you try to cross it quickly by rolling, then you build up Scarlet Rot on your body that absolutely ensures with 100% certainty that you will be afflicted with Scarlet Rot, which will also kill you. So the only way of actually getting through this area is, one, crafting the things that allows you to cure Scarlet Rot, of course. You can do that way. Although you'll see that Scarlet Buds are the main problem because they're so incredibly uncommon, supposedly. I'm sure there's some place somewhere where you can do that. Or the more video game way of doing this is to drop down right next to it and then start back hopping through it. And there's something amiss with the way that back hopping works to where status effects don't affect you whenever you're doing that. Which is... it's pretty stupid. Like, I know you're like, well, that's the solution. Like, it's really not a solution. That's more of a design oversight. So yeah, I don't have a very high opinion of this particular area. Just wanted to show that. We will not be doing it today. Don't have a high opinion of it. Okay. That is marked. that is done. Let's keep that there for the time being. And let's try to clear out this upper area, and then we will be golden. I could probably show the Divine Tower briefly. Not gonna do it though. Maybe. I mean, I could tag it, but yeah, let's just ride over here. It's kind of annoying though. It's mainly the exterior that's kind of annoying. Big Divine Tower, big Divine Tower. I think someone was compensating for something? It's so divine. Because it's so big. Whoops. Almost dove off the edge. I'm pretty cool, though. Ugh. Okay. So you jump over here. Be careful on Horsey. He will kill you. And this guy is here because FromSoft is designed by assholes. Yep, that's his exact function. I'm kind of glad that happened just to show that off. That guy is there for that one reason. Because it's a very tight, narrow space where you cannot dodge. And there's one thing that he's good at. It's hitting you from long range with a spear, with a fire weapon that will stun you, or just pushing you off the ledge if you actually do manage to try to get around him. Yep, this is one of those FromSoft enemies where they think it's really, really funny to do something that you don't have much of a choice over. So the proper solution, this is what I was going back to before, where I said that a lot of enemies are designed to be unfair, so that you will come up with different solutions. The quote-unquote proper thing to do would be to use like a ranged option, and get rid of him this way. Which, I don't know. Let me change weapons. I just feel like using something else now. This should still be okay. Yeah, there we go. Actually, since we're on here... Excuse me. Do I have something that... Oh yeah, I haven't used my Lucerne. I haven't been using it. Let's use Lucerne for the hell of it. There we go. This goes back to what I was saying before. I don't know, just the way that these games are designed. Like, obviously, Demon Souls, for example. Demon Souls was a game in which you were really encouraged to gather resources and use everything at in your disposal. Dark Souls 1 to a lesser extent. Dark Souls 2 to an even lesser extent. But you did have life gems, which is a mistake all on its own. And 3, of course, just became a brain-dead action game. So with Elden Ring, they seem to be pushing that again. I don't know, like in retrospect, I don't know if I really like it. I don't know how to really handle that situation. Let's see. I think there's like 1 or 2 items that are on the exterior of this place. I will try to go over here. I think there might be like one... Yeah, there's like one thing here. And there's also an asshole here. Because FromSoft. Oh, I'm gonna grab this item. Oh, I'm standing here. Really? Wow, truly amazing. What's my weapon art on this? Ah, yes. Another glorious FromSoft enemy placement. Stone Sword Key. There we go. I think that's the only thing that's over here, but I guess I'll give it a whirl either way. But yeah, I'm not quite sure how to handle that problem. Because if you design a game too simplistically... Is there anything done there? It doesn't look like it. If you design a game too simplistically, it becomes like Dark Souls 3, where it's just, you know, an action game. There's just nothing to it. Or even like Dark Souls 1 can even arguably be said to be sort of like that. Where sure, you pick up stuff like... let's think of something that's really useful. Like there's always been skulls in the game that you can... of various names, where you can just throw them, and it makes enemies run towards them, right? That's very useful, right? do you guys really use them? Probably not. Or even like item crafting in this game. I could technically be making these pots that are very useful. Do I ever use them? No, not really. Why? I don't know, I just don't. I probably should use them more, but I just don't. Because it's sort of, I don't know, kind of a minor irritation. And more to the point, I think most of it is that the way that I approach playing almost any game is that I'm going through the point of least resistance. Nice. Good old Lucerne. So, for example, if I can kill this guy by doing a charged R2 and then an R1, that's the easiest possible way to dispatch him. So what am I going to do? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit him with a charged R2 and then hit him with a R1, and then I'll just be done. Do I really want to go into my item menu and equip something and then put the enemy to sleep and then walk up and riposte him or something? No, obviously not. So you're always designing it that way, a path of least resistance. Dead end ahead. Yeah, I was about to say I think this doesn't actually have anything over there. Nah, not gonna bother. If there is an item over there, it's probably next to nothing. If you go around these ladders, I would suggest getting off your horse. Because horsey do love be getting you dead. He love it. He a naughty horse. But he do love it. Okay, we're back here. Alright, just want to make absolutely certain. For anyone that was curious. By curious, am I right? Sorry. So, whenever you're designing these games, I'm sure that's what their logic is. We have all these disposable items, but players are just running through the area, just killing things with their R1s. How do we ensure that people need to use R2s? How do we need to ensure that people need to use spells? How do we ensure that people have a reason to use items? And over time, their solution has just been, I guess, make the game really, really unfair in various ways. Like, various minor ways. So that whenever you get to this enemy, if you try to just fight him using standard R1s, maybe you can do it. But it will probably just get you killed trying, or it will cost you a lot of damage. Which I'm sure is also part of the reason why that they... Let's see if I can jump around this. Okay. There we go. Which I'm sure is part of the reason why that they have turned Elden Ring into a two-hit kill game for most of the time. Like, obviously, I'm way over-leveled for certain areas now. But eventually it's going to taper off, and we're just going to go back to being killed in 2 hits. But that's obviously intentional, and it seems to be that's what they were going for. This idea that they're trying to encourage the player to use every single resource that they have available, even if it's something that they would not naturally do. And as I've said in the past, that does make the player feel very impotent and weak. Because even though... Newman's Room. Even though someone like Blythe, for example, after we beat Radagon, is like, wow, you two really fought an even battle, or you were the stars, and we were just sort of there. You don't feel that way. Because in the context of the battle, you actually were just as weak as everyone else, and you have to play like a coward. You have to ride around on your horse, pelting him with spells or items, waiting for summons to do most of the damage. Or you have to do drive-bys, where you hit him with enough bleed damage to be able to get him down, or you have to poison him, or you have to hit him with Scarlet Rot, or you have to, even if you're using like a strength build, you have to just try to time all your dodges so that you don't get hit by him, because if you do, then you're going to take almost all of your health and damage. So it's not really an even fight between two gods in that way. Like, he's a god, obviously. You're just some dipshit that can throw bombs because you made them out of flowers. Like, you're no one. You're just some pathetic loser. So yeah, ludonarrative dissonance in that way. So you can see how this stuff fits together. It really does end up making you feel very weak and impotent. Newman's Room. Grace that dwells within the inhabitants of the lands between, the lingering residue of gold. The Newman are said to have come from outside the Lands Between, so they are also tarnished, and are in fact of the same stock as Queen Marika herself, or maybe they are not tarnished. That either means that Queen Marika herself was tarnished, which makes not really any sense at all, because supposedly she was supposedly the one that banished the tarnish, wasn't she? I don't know, the logic of that, I'll try to make sense of it later. But that does seem to indicate that people were not always from the Lands Between. It's not as though people were born and evolved here, and the only people that exist outside the Lands Between are people that were tarnished in the first place. Maybe. Maybe. That could be important lore information, or it could be horse hockey, I believe is the technical industrial term. Horse hockey. Alright, just careful here. Get off a horse. Now you can notice if you don't have enough room, you sidestep off, so if you're too close, then you'll just drop right off the edge and die. Oh, look at that. There's a man over there. Item ahead. Well, yeah, of course. Good job, Plagueman. But there's a naughty man right here. Let's see if we can hit the naughty man. Because obviously this guy is placed in such a way that he will... Well, we can get halfway there, I suppose. We can start from up here, at least. Whoops, I keep trying to use the L1. Because obviously that guy's designed so that whenever you land, he wakes up and, like, your weapon rebounds against the wall or something, and then he manages to push you off. Another one of those asshole enemy placements. Well, unfortunately, I don't think that there's really anything over here that's worth going over here for, but I did want to show it all the same. Okay. I think this circles, yeah, this circles right back around to where we were in the first place. So, see, we're looking back over this area. So, that's where that goes. I think you can actually go from this part to over here, so that's another pathway that you could use. So yeah, going to show, there's really not too much to collect up here. It's just kind of an annoying little area. Okay, so very carefully. This is our final ladder that we have to go up, I think. Also, super uncomfortable area to have to go up if it were actually real life. Like this giant stone tower. Like even the cliffs surrounding it are very... Like they're just long enough that you know if you fall, you're going to hit those cliffs. You're not going to have a chance of like trying to knife cut your way into that water. You're gone. You're gone, buddy. And if I recall correctly, there's not actually any items on the exterior up here. Or I'm going to assume that. Because I just want to tag this and leave. So yeah, here we go. Lost Grace discovered. I will show this. If you go up this way, because this is not the path forward, there are some big old doors that I can open? What the fuck? I didn't know I could do this. What the hell? How come I can open this? Oh, because, of course, because I beat the boss here. That's why I can open it. Because Divine Tower, of course. Of course, a horse, of course. Well, I may as well do this. I've never actually done this before, because I've never really thought about it. I always just mindlessly got here and ran down and tried to get to the Godskin boss. And I never actually beat the Godskin boss, because I got there on my strength character and my int character. Well, no. I only got there on my strength character. And I decided, you know what, I don't like this. This is not fun. Because that strength character was like at level 40 or 50. So I just turned around and left. Yeah, the boss in this area is not particularly fun. And unfortunately, they apparently are common field bosses as well, from what I loosely gather. So, Divine Tower of Caelid. I've never been up here. Never. New experiences are nice, aren't they, guys? I was actually thinking... I've been thinking about that a lot lately. There's just so many things in life that I haven't done. Just because I've been... being raised, we of course never went on vacations. We never had any money. I was the accidental third child, so I was kind of ignored as well. So I was kind of just forgotten about for the most part. So I also never really got to have toys. My favorite toys growing up were dirt clods that I would throw together, because I thought it was neat that they crashed together. I would pretend that they were like battleships. I had a lot of fun doing that. And of course like sticks and stuff like that. So yeah, I was a very, very sheltered child. I've never had a chance to do anything. I've never gone anywhere. I've never seen anything. I've never really met new people. I just grew up, taught myself to do things, tried to carve out a way of making a living on my own without any help, and just did everything I could to get to this point where I'm making this this Elden Ring playthrough. So I've been thinking it must be nice to see new things, but I'm also kind of sad because I really don't have anyone to see it with. So I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with that, but all the same, this is the reason why I'm trying to make friends online, so I can like go to places and meet people that I know I actually like being around and do stuff with them. But yeah, seeing new things usually is supposed to be nice. Fortunately, if you end up in Chicago or something, you don't usually get attacked by a godskin apostle. So let's grab our little rune.
Radagon's great rune.
It's nice of them to put a desiccated finger up here for us, and all the divine towers. Maybe how this used to work is that the divine towers had living two fingers at one point. And that's the reason why that they were divine towers, because people would go here to, I guess, hear the words of the fingers, and it was like some sort of noble excursion. So whenever everything fell apart, naturally the fingers died. Maybe that's what happened. Because otherwise people would have had to drug the desiccated remains of these things up here, or something. We'll try to make some sense out of that later. Dun, dun, dun. Easier than 1, 2, 3. Okay, Radagon's great room. Radagon was amongst the children of Rennala and Radagon. Oh, right. Radagon is a... I was probably saying Radagon before, wasn't I? God, all their names. Oh well. Who became demigod stepchildren after Radagon's union with Queen Marika. Okay, so I will point out here, Radagon was a child... Wait, what? Wait a sec, hold on. Wait. Radagon was the name of... I'm gonna just be safe, because I can never remember these motherfuckers' names. Motherfuckers be having weird names. Oh yeah, I kind of picked one up. Radagon, yeah. The guy that we fought was named Radagon. The guy that we fought and killed is named Radagon. Guy on crippled horsey. Isn't he supposed to be Ronnie / Rena, whatever her name is, her father? And she calls Rennala her mother. Radagon was amongst the children of Rennala and Radagon. So if that's the case, wouldn't Ronnie be a child of incest between a mother and her son? Maybe I'm forgetting some important information. I probably am, surely. Surely the game's not riddled with this much incest. And again. But Radagon was amongst the children of Rennala and Radagon, who became demigod stepchildren. What? Okay, he's a biological child of Rennala and Radagon. Supposedly. But then they became demigod stepchildren after Radagon married his mother. Wow, there's a lot of going on there. So being a demigod apparently is just a point of status. It is not biological. So maybe biology has absolutely nothing to do with it. Which is interesting because we've encountered before the idea that people exclaimed that Godric was supposedly a weak demigod because his blood was thin. Or it was something like that. Which tells me that that is complete bullshit. Because if demigods can just be made just by marrying into the family to people that you have no blood relation to whatsoever, then there is no connection. So that's a straight up lie. Alright. The Great Room burns. It burns to resist the encroachment of the Scarlet Rot. Good for it. Good for it. Okay, lesson learned. So yeah, we got up here and we did that. I guess I'll show briefly where that goes. I really don't want to go down here, but I'll just, like, show the path. Remember, there's another entrance down this way. Like, that's the one that we just went up. You can also go down here. I kept thinking this is the actual path. I was like, I need to activate that rune. How do I do that? Oh, I guess I go down here. And I've only ever been here once before, so... Yeah, you go down here, and there's some angry soldiers that have really large stats. And yeah, and there's a summoning pool right there, so... That's where we're going to end up eventually. Just wanted to show you guys. Okay, can we warp? Yes, we can warp. Okay. Actually, I'll probably place... Stop it. Stop it. I'll place a little naughty man right there. Okay, we are good. And I think I'll actually end this part kind of around here. I'll run over here and grab the next little bit so we can do that next time. Because I'm already feeling kind of tired. I'm still not quite there yet. I'd probably need to avoid doing a 6-hour-long part and then recording like another one that's almost just as long a couple days later. That's probably part of the reason why I was just so incredibly tired. Something people have been telling me recently is that I have a personality flaw, in a sense, where I give and give and give and give, but I don't really take. Like, I'm very insistent that people not give me things. I guess it's because it's always been like a protective measure in my head. I'm so used to people disappointing me and not giving me anything anyways. You know, upbringing, blah blah, artist nonsense. That, I guess that's been my way of always protecting myself against being disappointed or against... Like, especially, I've always been that way with people. Like, I'm very, very afraid of people hurting me. So as a result... Like, one of the... This is... I might be oversharing a bit. I'm not going to name names or anything. But I actually, like, went out of my way to just ask someone if I could be their friend recently. And I was, like, really, really nervous to the point of, like, shaking. Just because, you know, I like this person, they seem like a really nice person, and I thought if there's anyone that I would be able to trust to not just willfully hurt me, then it'll probably be this person. And I was right, they said yes, of course. But, you know, it just showed that's the kind of mental block that I'm trying to overcome. Just because I'm so used to just being injured in that way. But point being, I've always had that sort of personality flaw, where I try not to take from people because I think it's unfair. But it really isn't. It's not unfair. It's just... That's just how I am. And I'm just not used to taking from people as a result. I guess I'll go up here real fast. We'll go up to the ball area. We've never actually looked around where the ball area is. It almost feels disappointing not to show it. So I can't say that I'm going to promise... Big jar. I can't say that I'm going to promise to try to take things from people, but, you know, it's something that I need to work on. Big jars. So the same big jars that we see that are turned into people are kind of just scattered all over the place around trees for whatever the reasons. Maybe this is where they were made. Although that doesn't really make any sense to me, because usually we see them associated with, like, academies and things of that nature. Let's try this. I don't want to do this right now. I guess I could since I'm just running through this area. Yeah, maybe. I'm already... what should I use? let's go ahead and go back to item type. What would be annoying? What would be annoying? Yeah, probably like the well, they're not really upgraded enough. Yeah, I forgot that I ran out of stuff for that. And I never upgraded you, you little rascal. And not these guys. I don't know. Maybe you? Maybe. I'm trying to think of what would actually be useful for getting this thing's attention and keeping its attention. Yeah, I guess if I stay in melee range, just really get up on it. I don't think we've actually tried using her either. What would be a good place? She can't actually move, so I guess maybe like here? Because this is sort of a big open area. Okay, let's get going. Whoa! Okay, maybe not the... Whoops. Yeah, she is already... yeah, she's gone. Well, that could have gone better. Wow, we're already in 2-hit kill territory. Alright. Alright, what should we use against you, then? Because I don't think this is going to go too well. Yeah, let's try to stick to Yep. Input read ahoy, Mr. Batman. I can't even do that. Because there's too much time and it doesn't get stunned. Here. Ooh, that was... Oh, come on, guys. Okay, that's pretty funny. Not that one. Whoop, I was trying not to get hit by any of those. Whoops, not the one I wanted, not the one I wanted. I was on the wrong flask. Wouldn't have mattered anyways, probably. Yeah, I think I'm at the point of the game where I'm going to actually have to start dying repeatedly in order to clear things. Okay, so let's not use her again, apparently. Let's try to use something that's more defensive. I didn't expect her to eat shit that badly. This is kind of a high-level area, but I didn't really expect it to be that bad. Then again, maybe the summons level exclusively... Maybe the summons level exclusively with their upgrades, and they have nothing to do with your stats. Maybe that's part of it. Which means that they're probably not going to be useful for much of anything. Which is unfortunate. Well, in that case... let's try it the old-fashioned way. Ba-ding! God damn it, I was trying to... Here. Okay, that does do quite a bit of damage. Yeah, it's much better. Ooh, surprised that didn't hit me. And I'm pretty sure that this, I can't quite remember, I think it buffs my holy damage and raises my faith. Not by much, apparently. Good thing I have Horsey. Makes this way more tolerable. What the... Oh, Scarlet Rot. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what caused that to happen. Maybe it's just a special effect of this one guy? Once it hits 50% health, maybe that's what happened. Yeah. Elden Ring's never going to be my favorite game. It's a lot of this, where there's like one thing that you do as an exploit. It doesn't really feel like a fight. Well. Because the horse was in the middle of turning around, none of my animations were working. It's one of the things I don't like about being on the horse. Ah, well. Let's do it again. You can tell from the sound of my voice that this is not fun, but it's also not worth complaining about. You guys remember me in the past saying that I really don't complain about things that I don't care about? If you ever hear me, like, actually complain about something like that, like this, like I'm doing now, where I'm like, that wasn't very good. That's kind of a really bad sign for the game, because it means I don't care anymore. It's just like something I have to deal with, you know? We'll try to get through all of Elden Ring, though, all the same. Okay. Go ahead and use this. Nice. Oh, really? Wow, it got killed in one hit, huh? I thought that was just my poise getting shattered. Damn. Okay. He's already on that, huh? As an actual, like, generic enemy type, I really don't mind these guys too much. I think it's mainly just that they intentionally try to crowd the area with as much garbage as possible to ensure that you get stuck on stuff. Yes, it doesn't really feel like a boss fight at this point. It kind of just feels like me exploiting one thing, but a lot of Elden Ring is like that. Then again, the times whenever it does feel like a boss fight, I don't really care for either. Just because it's too rigid. Like, the specificity of the things that you have to do to actually fight the boss are so constrained that you're really only... Like the guy that I was talking about earlier? Pothead Man? Nah. Like I said, he has to fight that person in a very specific way. So often the boss just becomes so... It becomes so specific that it becomes more solution-driven as opposed to just being experience-driven. Opening hard tier, Stone Barb crack tier. Elden Ring's a good game, but it's really just not for me. It's something that I hope that people that think similarly to me learn from the things that Elden Ring is doing, and if they don't like them either, then they will also learn not to do them if they're designers themselves. Because I feel like FromSoft has kind of gotten to this point where this is just how they design now, which is unfortunate, but nothing to be done about it. Boost all forms of damage negation. I wonder how this is different from the one that blocks one hit. Maybe this is the one that does a generic stat buff. Break enemy stances. Okay. I will never use either of them. I will not use the second one. Oh yeah, he is dead. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, where are we going? This thing's cleared. Let's go over here, I suppose. Whoop, not you. I have noticed... I don't know. I have noticed playing Elden Ring that my good mood has kind of gone away. It's not because I'm upset. It's kind of just... Elden Ring doesn't make me feel good at all. And I think mentally I'm sort of starting to associate it with all the... like the bad experiences that I've been having lately. Maybe that's what it is. But surely there's, like, good experiences to be had in the game, so... it's probably worth to keep going. But for the time being, I'm probably going to be focusing more on streaming, because my internet is being good enough right now that I feel like I actually can. Plus, I'm in way better spirits whenever I stream. And there are people there that actually communicate and care about what's happening. It's pretty nice. I've been trying to make sure that the experience of me streaming for people has been a very positive one. And that people enjoy themselves and they feel very comfortable being there. Alright, down here. Alright. And I'm pretty sure that that thing right there is the only way to actually get inside this tower. Which I guess I can do as the last little bit here at the end. Here we are! We're at the spot. The spot where all the happenings go on. Or they used to go on. I think people's rune farming techniques have moved on from the days of using the boulder. I'm not quite sure what they are anymore. But yeah, I don't think many people... Why did I do that? I don't think many people are doing that these days. Unless they absolutely have to. It is pretty easy, though. Okay. Let's go this way, I think it is. Ooh. Whoa. Lens Rise. Len, I wonder how that's spelled in Japanese. Because remember, we have Rena. Is it called Rena's Rise? Rena's Rise. We have Rena's Rise. And this is Lens Rise, which is not the same thing, certainly in English. But in Japanese, it would seem to be Ren. Man, the names are just so close together. Maybe it used to be a cousin or something. I have no idea. Okay. So here we are. May as well go ahead and grab this up here. Now, because they all use the same model, these all look exactly the same. They have the same accoutrements inside. Nothing useful to say about that. Man, I miss Dark Souls 1. Where I could walk into a room and there was stuff placed purposely and you could, like, talk about it and it made some degree of sense. Man, environmental storytelling is nice. But yeah, you get up here. Same stuff as normal. Nothing really that interesting. And a single memory stone, so it's just... It's sort of like a Breath of the Wild reward. Like you do a generic shrine challenge and you get a generic reward, so... memory stone, just another memory stone. We already have... Because of the magic system that I've criticized in the past... You know, because you can't, like, hold R2 and press a button to do that specific spell. We already have way too many spell slots. So, we really don't need more of them, but... There you go. This is where we came in. And this... If I can remember, what is the name of these things? Graven School Talisman... Graven Mages, that's what they're called. So here we have a Graven Mage. I wonder what you think of incantations. Not much, that doesn't really do anything. Lightning probably won't work in here. Oh no, it actually does. That's strange. I have noticed that often lightning, if there's a roof above you, it does not really work. Takes a while to get through all of his health. The way they seem to like... Ooh, almost. So what does he drop? Nothing. Just nothing. The way they seem to want to design spells and stuff in this game is... It's another thing I don't really like how they've been designing it. Just bring as many flasks of Cerulean Tears with you as you can, and use that as a resource to basically cheat kill enemies that you don't want to deal with. And eventually you can just run out of your ability to do it, which also feels very dissatisfying to me, because it doesn't really integrate with the normal combat in any way, and it kind of just feels like you're wasting resources. Or that's what goes through my head anyways. Yep. Wow, I'm really just feeling no joy whatsoever playing this game. Like, I don't feel bad, it's like a hollow void now. Like, I really just don't enjoy doing this. How exactly you open this, I don't know. Because this thing, as far as I know, this thing that blocks the entranceway, never goes away. You would think that killing that thing would dispel it, but it doesn't. Just nothing happens. So you either have to go all the way up there and try to jump off the roof again, which I don't think there's anything else on the roof, but I'll go check. Or you just have to teleport back out. So if you accidentally end up here before you actually tag the outside, then you know, you might be a bit of a stretch. But yeah, you can safely jump off the edge, so it's not a big deal. I don't think there's anything up there, though. I don't think there's anything around here, either. I'm glad that other people have been enjoying Elden Ring. It's definitely not for me, though. Yep, still there. Nothing outside, either. And I don't think there's anything... No, nothing up there. Well, there you go. Well, I'll end it here for now, guys. I'll do another one of these LP parts whenever I feel like I'm in better spirits with Elden Ring. But for the time being, I'm not quite there yet. I really have been enjoying actually engaging with things that have been making me happy lately. So it's been a lot of streaming, a lot of watching other people's streams for that matter, and a lot of trying to make friends and talk to friends in the middle of the night over voice chat and stuff like that. That's been fun. I've been enjoying it. Not so much Elden Ring, for the reasons I've gone over the past 90 or so hours of this LP. So we'll leave it there for the time being. Hopefully this won't be the last part. Not going to be that dramatic. But I wouldn't expect them at quite the rate that I was doing before. That was wearing me out without me actually realizing. I'm trying to take more time for me instead of just killing myself over and over again, trying to do things as perfectly and quickly as possible. But yeah, see you guys next time. Hope you all are having a good time yourselves. I thank you for having enjoyed my LP so far. If you want to see me stream, I'm trying to do it every day. This is the one day that I'm not doing it, and I'm doing this recording as a result. But that's over at twitch.tv/Plague of Gripes, of course. And I'll be using my little kitty cat if you're so interested. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII, watching YouTube videos, and drawing so far. We'll see what I do from that point forward as well. Maybe one day I'll do some Dark Souls again, who knows. Alright, see you everybody. Bye-bye. Say goodbye again, you dork, you huge dork. Oh yeah, beat your chest like an idiot. You big dumb gorilla. Okay. See you guys next time. Bye-bye. You can stop now. Good boy.